Hello everyone. My name is Tanja Kuhn and I came from Switzerland. First, I want to say sorry for my bad English. Normally I teach only in German. I've been working with Excel for 30 years. I am a Microsoft Office trainer for large companies and a video trainer for LinkedIn Learning. Most of my videos are about Excel formulas and functions, pivot tables, Excel forms, Power Query, Power Pivot, and getting started in M. I have a new video on smart tables. Then I find the name format as table that Microsoft choose very badly. Most users are thinking it's just colors. And we know it's so much more. You can design so much user-friendly and dynamic. That is the reason that our team called it intelligent tables or smart tables. I love Power Query extremely. I had my first contact with Power Query in 2013. I was so excited that I got used to the new tool in 6 weeks. In German-speaking countries, I was the first to make a video tutorial about Power Query. I have led many Power Query seminars over the past years. Customers are excited as you can make their lives easier with Power Query. They can now save many hours per month. To take the tool better now, I will briefly show an example of Power Query in all my Excel courses. And most of them always says, that's exactly what we need. That's why my new motto is, make the Excel world easier with Power Query. I think learning Power Query is much easier for a normal user than learning VBA. Of course, you can't do everything with Power Query, and it still needs VBA. But for data processing, Power Query is definitely the tool of my choice. In everyday practice, I see Excel files with thousands of VLOOKUPs that are hardly usable. Waiting 5 to 10 minutes to insert a line takes away the fun from working for sure. If I set up a form with Excel in which I import data from a table, the VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP approach continues to be useful. It is, however, not an efficient if I have two lists from where I want to enrich one list with data from another list. By using Power Query, this process becomes faster and easier and simply more efficient. But let's just have a deeper look at the pros and cons. The first problem with VLOOKUP is the performance. VLOOKUP makes long lists very slow. When I have thousands or hundred thousands of rows, then is the performance a problem with VLOOKUP. The second is VLOOKUP is very error prone as lists grow and when data types are incorrect. And another problem, many users have problems with VLOOKUP because they don't understand the difference between true and false in the last parameter. So Power Query solves all the cons on the left side. In our first example, we have two data sets. On the left, we have a green table depicting our orders for which we need more article data, as we only have the article number in the orders table. We can also find the article number in the blue article table. So we have a key field that assists us in tying both together. The command in Power Query to access other tables is Combine Queries. In the dialog, we can select the key fields and the join type. Let's start with the first demo. I click in Excel to Data in the ribbon to import my two data sets. Here by Get Data, I choose from Files. I have my data sets in Excel Workbook. I choose here from Excel Workbook. Then here are my data. Now it's connecting to the file. Both of my data sets are in this file, so I select here, select multiple items. I choose these two tables you have seen in my slides, and here I choose Transform Data. So Power Query is starting here with the data. I see on the left side my two data sets, here the article data set and here the orders. And these two data sets, I have now a connection to these dates, and over close here and load, I choose close and load to. And I make only a connection to these two data sets. And here I choose OK. So I have load now my two connections here to these data sets. And now our get data, I can now here combine my queries. I choose here the first one, the merge. And now we see the dialog. First, I have to choose my orders table. And here at the bottom, my article table. And the next step is I choose now my key field. My key field is the article number in this example. And the same field I have here in my article table. That's the key field. And the next step is to choose the join. We have different possibility to join the data when we need when we will make the same like the VLOOKUP, we have to choose the left outer join. That's important. We see here we have a match to all the records. That's perfect. And I choose here OK. Now we see a new query, this merge query. And at the beginning, you see the order details. And now the last column is here, the join to the table with the articles. And we have only to choose these two arrows here. And now we can tell him which fields we need. And I need all fields, only the article number I have already, and the This one I don't use. Then an OK. And now I have the same. If you make 4 VLOOKUPs for different VLOOKUPs in Excel with the function. And this is really much faster than the VLOOKUP. So the next step is here to give a name to the query. That's the name, the data, perhaps for my pivot table. I need this later for a pivot table. I need also not the unit price, I need the unit price multiplied by the quantity for the sales column. So I can select these 2 columns, go to add column, and here by standard I choose multiply. And with a double click I can change here the name, enter, and now my data is ready to make a pivot table. For this I go on the Home tab, I choose here again close and load to, and now I can make here a pivot table report with this data. Okay. And I have all my fields here. I can now make for the category all the sales. Perhaps I make a right click and format the numbers. So I can copy my little pivot table. If I need other ones, I make one more here. So I can change from the category to the, where we have to the country here. So I have another table, pivot table, or one more on the right side, perhaps with the, not with the country, but with the supplier. So I have one more. And now I have 3 different pivot tables. And if I have changed my data, the only thing I have to do is I go to data, make here refresh all, and then all my report is updated. I have only to change the export files, perhaps, where the data is coming. But I have not to change my query, I have not to change my pivot tables or to make them new. All is refreshable with only one click. Only one thing is important in your query. I go back to Power Query. Here on the right side, I can choose now here my queries. I make a right click on my query and choose here Edit. So I'm again in my Power Query editor. And what's important? We have this article table. This is the lookup table. And it's very important that in your lookup table, the key is not duplicated. So if you are not sure if your data is properly, please make a right click and choose here, remove duplicates. So that's important. Otherwise, you have a problem. You have a lot more orders. That's good, but that's not true. So that you don't have this problem with Power Query, it's important that you remove duplicates in your lookup table. That's very important. And then you can choose here close and load and go back to your Excel. What happens if the data was not entered consistently? If, for example, the surname is in the first place, but then does not continue to follow in this order, VLOOKUP fails completely. Fuzzy in Power Query is able to solve this problem. Let's have a look at that in the next example. In this example, you see a course registration table. Tanja and Renee have registered for various courses. Unfortunately, the two have always spelled the name differently. On the right, we have on the right side, we see an employee table from the HR system. The names here are correct, and we need the department in the table of the registration. A normal join also fails here. So we need the technique of fuzzy in the join. Here we have the two tables in the same workbook. The first thing is to import these two little tables. I go to Data, and with the command from table/range, I import now the registration table first, and with choose and load here, load to, I make only create a connection to load this data in my Power Query. Then I go to the second table, the HR table. I make the same from table/range, and the same again here. I make only a connection to this data. So then we have now these two queries for our data, and the next one is to make a new query that we can choose this attendee column and this column here from the HR system to join these two tables so that I can bring the department to this list. I choose now Get Data. Here, Combine Queries and Merge. My first table is the registration table, the second one the HR table, and the key field here is attendees, and here the first one. We need a left outer join. We need all the information from the first table, and when it matches, information from the second table. When we see here, we have only, at the moment, only one match. Why only one match? You see here the second record in capital letters, Tanja Kuhn. And in the HR table, all the name of the people are capital letters. So we have at the moment only one match. So this we can change now if I use the option fuzzy matching. I click here now, and we see now we have 10 rows. They are matching. I push now OK. I come to my Power Query, and here by the two arrows, I choose now all the columns. I need all from the HR table. This I don't want. OK. And we have now proper information to this column up. Although the names are spelled differently. So I named now my query here. and I give this data back now with close and load to. Now to an Excel table that we see the result here in Excel. Okay. I have new registrations now here on the second sheet. I copy now this information to my first table here. So we have now more registration in this table. I go to my green list and make a refresh with a right click. And we can see it works very good. But in practice, it's very important to control the data well. It is also possible to set various options for fuzzy, but that takes more time to explain all these options. I hope I was able to show you that VLOOKUP can be replaced very well with Power Query in lists to build faster solutions. In addition, there are possibilities with fuzzy that are impossible with VLOOKUP. Thank you for your attention and have a good day. Bye bye.